Hey everybody, this is Grace. And lately I've been thinking about dysfunctional families and what they do when you're young, how it can last a lifetime. There are many things that can last a lifetime that they do when you're young. And this one today, I was thinking more about clothing and taunting. Okay, and I was also thinking about how sometimes good memories have bad going on behind the scenes, and I have an example of that, and it involves clothing. It goes back to when I was a really young child. I'm guessing probably around 5 to 7 years old, somewhere around there. It's been a long time, so I'm going to forget some of the details. And one of the things is I remember there was a good memory, but that is more vague than the bad things because those continued on for many years, and still, like was saying that it can last a lifetime. Some of what happened, I still maybe the reason I'm doing certain things in my life now is because of that. So I want to give an example and get deeper into it, and I'm curious if other people had this kind of experience in their dysfunctional family, or can be also, a dysfunctional environment all around that can cause stuff like that too. Okay, now for the story. When I have mentioned before that my mother suffered from postpartum depression after she had me. I was the fourth child, and she never got over it. Never really. She pretty much didn't want to have much to do with me my whole life. And I was raising, two-parent home and my siblings. And my dad claimed that he was the one to take care of me. I don't know how he did since he worked a lot. And my mother's mother, her parents lived next door, and her mother, my grandmother, was a nurse, had been a nurse. So I'm thinking she did a lot of that. But one of the things was, I've mentioned this recently, that I think a lot of people who grew up in this kind of family, they had hand-me-downs. Now that, doesn't mean that they were poor. They didn't have to be poor to have hand-me-downs. Some of it is neglect. They didn't want to take the time to go and buy new clothing for their children. And some of it they would buy, at like garage sales or something like that. Now, for me, like I said, this memory goes back to where I was probably 5 to 7 years old, somewhere around there. And it was that my dad took me. I can't remember if it was me and my siblings or what, but I know he took me and maybe one other sibling, to go buy clothing, and it was at a clothing store. Well, I thought it was real fancy. It was outside of town. I grew up in a town, and this was in the city, the big city, and it's really not a big city. But I thought it was all fancy. Years later, I went saw that store again, and I said, that was not fancy at all. But you know how it is when you're a kid, and you've only seen a few things, so. But anyway, he took me, and I was so excited. And when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking that a lot of the excitement was probably because I was being taken care of. There were actually, somebody was actually going to buy me clothing. And what he bought was a shirt. I remember a shirt. It was a white shirt. I don't remember exactly what it looked like, but it was a white shirt, and I loved it. And I don't know if it was that day or when it was. I was wearing that white shirt, and, we all know how kids can be when it comes to eating. We were having spaghetti. I remember that. And sure enough, it splattered on or fell on my shirt, something, on a white shirt. And from that moment on in my life, and my dad died when I think I was 32 or 33. He passed away. He wouldn't make comments about that I could, when I was younger, he would not allow my mother to buy me anything white. I don't know if it was pants too, but no, couldn't have white. And he always picked on me about it, said things like I always, instead of wearing, eating my food, I wore it on my shirt. And he would say that to anybody. He would tell anybody that. It was a humiliation game for him. And he enjoyed it. But that didn't really end there. No. So I want to talk about that too. Okay, now you see there was a good memory in it because I felt so good that, somebody was buying me a shirt. But, with people like that, parents, even your child, they don't want that goodness, that good feeling to last too long. That's been my experience. And I can't say that 100% across the board. I can't say it 100% across the board for anybody, anything like this. But my experience was anytime I was feeling really good about something, no, there was going to be that touch of misery put on it, okay, by somebody. But there was a good memory, being taken care of, and having a new shirt. I was a little girl, new little, shirt. And like I said, it didn't really last just then, because as I, when I turned 18, I actually got married when I was 18, but since then, I'm 57 now, I don't think I've ever purchased a white shirt. Okay, maybe a t-shirt. Okay, maybe. Now, I had one recently. It has I, and there's a donut on it. Wait, it says O-H. It has a donut. It has even. Yeah, I bought that a few years ago, but I think it was kind of off-white. But most of my clothing that I buy is black. Seriously. Black or very dark, like very dark purple. And yeah, so that was one of them. But there was another one too, and that was when you're a kid. I don't know, maybe it wasn't for you when you were a kid, but where I grew up, kids love T-shirts. Okay, T-shirts with funny little sayings on them, like "I donut," or "Oh, donut even," do not even. But I bought that one because the few years ago because it was just too cute. But anyway, when I was young, I loved T-shirts, just like all the other kids in school. I think everybody wore T-shirts. And two of my aunts, one time we went to one of their houses, and I think I was a very young teenager, maybe 13, 14 years old, and one of my aunts, she never really liked me. She just seemed like she really had it against me. And she made a comment, loud enough for me to hear, to her sister, my dad's sister. And my dad wasn't there, but she made a comment that I am not the right type of girl to wear T-shirts. Okay. And she just looked at me with that, that look that they have, like a narcissistic smirk. And she just made that comment. And I was, young, and I was like, why, And I didn't ask, you didn't ask questions to adults back then in my family. But it carried on with me. I stopped wearing T-shirts. To this day, I really don't wear T-shirts except for that one I have, and I have one that says, "Strong is the new pretty." Yeah. I think that's the past few years have been the first time I've ever purchased a T-shirt since I was really young and warm. I've had some, like my sisters would give me something cute or something, but no, T-shirts weren't my thing, and neither are blue jeans. So that's another story too. But these things that they say, can affect your life, and what you do in your life. Even just something as simple as clothing, how you dress. As I became an adult, when I moved to the Dallas area from Austin was very laid back. I was in my 20s, moved to Dallas, and the whole way that you were to dress as a woman was you were not going to stand out. It had to be black slacks or black skirt, and just a plain colored shirt. Okay, and I kept seeing that. I mean, I don't know if it was across the board, of course, it probably wasn't. But anywhere I went to apply for a job, like an office job, that's what it was. You were not to stand out. In Austin, Texas, both of these, it was great if you stood out. Anybody could stand out. And whatever you wanted to wear, you wore it. Whatever colors, whatever, whatever style, dress, pants, whatever. But not here. I'm in a suburb of Dallas now, so I really don't even know what it is like there now, as far as, with the pandemic, of course, as far as what you wear. But yeah, it was very strict. So I got used to just everything was black pants, black slacks, or black capris. I don't wear skirts anymore, or dresses. So But yeah, you know, the things that people say, and that one of them was when I moved to Dallas area was at a job interview, and the woman told me to leave and go to go buy me something more appropriate. And I was like 20, I don't know, I was maybe 24 years old or something, and I was wearing a dress. Okay, it was blue and white striped dress. Nothing was wrong with it, but no, her opinion was no, you can't dress like that here. In Austin, it was great. Everybody loved it, that kind of thing. So it just kind of stuck with me that way. And really, you know, black looks good on me. Who does black not look good on? You know, or plain shirt, yeah. But these kind of things can, you know, have a long-lasting effect, and some would say it's some kind of unconscious thing. Some would say subconscious thing. I had, you know, my degrees are in psychology and sociology. And the psychology, yeah, I had professors who said some would say it's unconscious, some would say it's subconscious. And one said that unconscious is when somebody hits you over the head with a bat. That was his example. But I just kind of disagree with it. But, I mean, of course it is, but, you know, as far as when you use what term and what word. But anyway, some say, you know, it's that's what the, you know, average person says is it's a subconscious thing as to why I, all this time, never really thought about it, but I don't buy anything white. Okay? And by the way, I still make mistakes. I don't wear my clothing on my shirt, but you get what I'm saying. We're human. Okay, I think that's enough for that part. But yeah, clothing was a problem for me in my family. It really was. My whole childhood, you know, they had enough money, but they wouldn't spend it. And I can remember wearing, like, I'd have 2 outfits for the whole week of school, you know, and also having trouble finding something to wear, like it was in the laundry. And, you know, when you're a kid and you're out there and you know, you have recess and all that, you can't wear the same unwashed clothing, you know, all week. And it's not even good to wear the same thing. And we got picked on a lot. I did. And since I was the same size as one of my sisters, she was really bad about taking my stuff. Okay. And yeah, clothing was really bad issue for me then. And as I became an adult, I really don't care too much about clothing. I went through a stage in my early 20s, like I said, when I was living in Austin. And I loved Lane Bryant, and they even asked me to model for him one time. I loved Lane Bryant, and I went crazy with the credit card. I had so many credit cards, but that was one of them, and I just loved buying clothes. But that was it. The rest of my life, whatever, you know, not so much. But lately, a little bit more. Maybe it took that long to get over it. But anyway, I want to do another video, but maybe I'll make it for another channel about trying on clothes. Yeah, no weird story behind it, but a weird story about it, I guess. I don't know. We'll see what I do. I had a moment to do it like this, so I'm wrapping it up. Talk to y'all later in another video.